and win. No pawns on the board. It's very rare in the endgame that there are no pawns on the board. White has an extra bishop. Normally, if it's a normal position, this is theoretically it's a draw. But I've won twice against strong grandmasters, so it's not easy to do in practice. So it's theoretically this is a draw if it's normal position. This not like this. If normal, I mean if his king is in the middle of the board, his rook is on f5 on light square. Normally it's a draw, but it's you could win. I won twice, so it's and also many games have been won by two grandmasters playing. So, but this is different position. So you need to calculate and find a way to take advantage of the fact that his rook is on f6 on a dark side and his king is on h8. How can take advantage of this factor that his pieces are on the same diagonal and you have the bishop of that color? Don't think it's simple. It's not that simple actually. You probably see the first move, but very precise follow-up needed. Okay, bishop to b2. Now, if I go check, what do? You block and you say check now to block. And that gives you a chance to win the piece. Same thing if it goes check. We go back, say check. Okay? So, if he goes here now, what do? Check. And now we win the rook. Not check from here. This would be an inaccuracy. Rook f8. He will block it. If he goes here, what do? Check. And you win the rook. Okay? Okay. So now, let's take a look at some defenses. What if he goes here? You have two double checks. Which one is the best? Check. When there are two checks, king must move. If king cannot move anywhere, it's checkmate. So remember, when two checks, immediately then he has to move the king. And now, see, rook is guarding the square he can escape from. We go down here, checkmate. Okay? And if he goes this way now, what do?
The other way, rook c8.
Check. He comes up now, rook is guarding the square. Checkmate. Same idea, but a little bit different. It depends where he puts the rook. If he puts on g, you go to the c8. If he puts on f8, you go to h3. Okay, good. So it looks like simple, yeah? We just go here and we win. Not as simple. Rook h6 now. Best defense. Still losing, but at least it's more difficult now. Don't rush, yeah? Don't rush. You have to rook to c6, king h7. He's protecting his rook. Rook to g3. Suggestion. Okay. I come up. I go back. I come up. Go back. I go back. Draw would be great for black. Black would be extremely happy to save this game. Imagine if you don't find the right move here, you're not winning this game. Hey. Well, I mean, you have the right idea, rook g3, but you have to find the win all the way. Here, now rook c7, I escape. I go king h8. King h7 now. See?
How about bishop c1?
Well, you have the bishop on the right diagonal. You don't want to. Bishop c1 is just an attack. He'll see it.
I thought we had covered every other square.
It's a rook move. It's a rook move. It's a rook move.
What happens if you take the rook all the way
To here. Here. He just comes up and protects his rook. If you take this as a draw, because you cannot checkmate with the bishop. You need a pawn at least. Okay, so so now it's not so easy suddenly, huh? Not so easy now. One thing, you have to cut the king so he doesn't escape, because if he gets to g8, he's going to escape. Okay? So rook g3 idea was correct, because you cut the king now. He can't go that way. So he goes here. Now this is good too. Now you have to be careful, because there are lots of stalemate ideas. Because he could sacrifice his rook and then you can get a stalemate. What do you do here? Huh? The key move here. You need to find the key move that is winning.
rook to a7 check.
He escapes. King g8.
g6 check.
You need a then he comes up. Yeah, you need a quiet move. A lot of time in these positions, you need a quiet move to pass the turn to the opponent. Keep everything the way it is, but you pass the turn. But accurately, only one move wins. Yeah, then he goes king g8. He escapes from the corner. He's checked, now he escapes to f8. He runs away. He runs away, then it's you will play for 50 moves and probably might be a draw. King to b1. Correct. You simply pass the turn now. Let's see what is black going to do. He cannot move the king. So if he goes check, you drop the rook back and you tell him check. And you pick up the pawn. Pick up the rook. Okay? So you cannot do that. Now, the problem for him is anywhere he moves the rook, you're going to move it that direction and say check. And you're going to win by doing a discovery check. If he goes rook f6, what do you do? Don't hurry up and just take. See? In blitz, yeah? In like if you have 30 seconds, opponent puts the rook there, you take quickly. Stalemate. What?
Rook to g6.
Yeah, rook to g6 or rook to any square pretty much back you take. Okay. And now if he goes here, what do you do?
Rook anywhere along the g point.
Check. Can go here, it's guarding. He goes here, check. All right, perfect. Now let's take a look if he goes rook f8. What do you do now?
Rook to c7.
Rook to c7.
Check.
Check.
Bishop to g7. I mean, king, rook to g7.
G7 check.
Then for king to a2.
Perfect. Same exact idea, but now if he checks from here, we're gonna go back here and say check. And we pick up the rook. See, without king a2, you cannot win this position. Let's say you make this move, right? Someone suggested this. I go check. Check. Stalemate. You come up here, no problem. Check. Doesn't matter how you take, stalemate. Check. Stalemate. So, and you go here and just take. Okay, so always have to watch out for that, okay? So lots of nuances. Looks like a simple, you put the bishop there and you're gonna win, but no. You have to see lots of nuances here. One, like for example, against each move.